Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing. I apologize, I'm going to be a little bit long-winded, but I got some stuff I want to cover. So this video is going to be first North Division Bass Champs is next Saturday on Lake Fork. Terry Hawkins, same guy I fished with up here last year, and I will be fishing that tournament. So I practiced a little bit on last Tuesday and then this past Saturday. So that's what this video is going to be. But before we get there, a couple things. First off, the day you see this video, I just thought this was interesting. If you didn't notice the calendar, it is 2/22/22. That is weird. I guess the last one of these would have been January the 11th of 11, and the next one will be March the 3rd of 33. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I'm sure the Mayan calendar says the world's supposed to be hit by a meteor or something on Tuesday, but if you're watching this, obviously that didn't happen. Okay, so the thing that's under my crawl, and I may say, you know, I never use curse words on my channel. I want this to be a family channel. This pisses me off. So I did a video last week talking about should tournament circuits publicize accidents. And to a man and to a woman, everyone who responded agreed that this is something tournament circuits need to start doing. They need to quit hiding accidents. They need to publicize them. They need to talk about what happened. That will do two things. It will raise awareness just to how dang dangerous this is. And secondly, it might make guys have different behavior so that we avoid some of these accidents. Certainly FLW as a tournament organization, and I'm not picking on FLW, but FLW as an organization has changed their behavior after the unfortunate incident at Okeechobee a couple of years ago. And you just saw it at Rayburn where they canceled the Friday because of wind, which was the right move, by the way. But I had a co-angler reach out to me who fished in the Toyota series. And he drew, and I'm not going to name this guy by name. Number one, because the co-angler was very hesitant on giving me the name, and I'll tell you why he gave it to me. And number two, I didn't witness this personally. Had I witnessed it personally, this would be a different video. But this is a young man. He's 21, I think, years old. Doesn't look like he ever fished a BFL. He's from the Northwest. I asked him who it was because if this had been a young man from around here, I either would have known him or knew somebody who knew him where I could have reached out and said what I'm about to say here to him man to man. This guy, and by the way, he fishes a bunch of the Toyota series. It looks like he's just running the country, and he qualified for the tour a couple of years ago at 21 years old. So he's very young. And I'm not going to get into anything other than that, but this guy said they're running up the lake wide open. He said wide open throttle, WOT. So running in a Phoenix 68 to 71 miles an hour. He said the water was good water. They were, out where there was no chop. And he said he looked over and this guy reached down and picked up his phone, looked at a text message, turned loose of the steering wheel and started answering, never come off the throttle. Started responding to a text message or sending a text message, running down a lake, not paying attention to the water. That is unacceptable behavior. First off, he broke the rules. Number 8 in the Major League Fishing FLW rules say, safe boating must be observed at all times. And it goes on to say, all persons must be seated and the driver must be behind the steering wheel in full control of the boat whenever it is on plane or the combustion engine is running and in gear. He was none of that. He put himself in danger, I don't care. He put his co-angler in danger, I do care. He put everybody else on the water that day, which could have been me. I wasn't there. Could have been me, could have been my wife, could have been my kids, could have been your wife, could have been your kids, could have been you. In danger, being an idiot. Being an idiot. Look, we've all answered emails and text messages in the truck when we shouldn't have. I do my very best never to do that now. But I can't. The variables are multiple worse in a boat. You got underwater obstructions. You got the wake you don't see coming. You got another boat you don't see coming. This stuns me that this happened. I promise you, if Mark McWaw, the tournament director for Toyota Series, if I called Mark and told him what happened, which I'm not because it's not my business, this young man would get a phone call. That's unacceptable behavior. If somebody sees this happen again, and by the way, if he's done it once, he'll do it again, you need to scream at him to stop the boat like something's happened. When he shuts it down, you need to chew his ass and tell him that he is not fulfilling his responsibility to be safe and to keep you safe and to keep everybody else in that tournament circuit safe. So next guy that sees that happen, don't sit there and be quiet about it. I'll tell you, back years ago when Bassmaster Invitationals were draws, I drew a guy who ran in an unsafe manner, and it was a big time pro. If I said his name, you'd know who he is. He's dead now, but we had significant words about it, and basically he slowed down, because had he not slowed down, we would have found out if I could have whipped his butt or if he could have whipped mine, because I told him that. So next time this happens, just tell the guy, if you don't get your hands back on the wheel, I'm going to file a protest for breaking rule number 8 of Major League Fishing for not being a safe boater. And by gosh, he'll put his hands back on that wheel and leave that phone down there where it doesn't need to be. And by the way, I'm pretty sure somewhere in the rules it says you're not supposed to be communicating on your phone during the day unless it's an emergency. Enough of that. All right. Zavalla Volunteer Fire Department's got a tournament coming up in April. There's a flyer right there if you guys are interested in that. We would love to get help with that. If we're down there, we'll definitely be participating. I'm not looked that far out on the calendar to see if we'll be down there or not. Bass Champs is this weekend on Saturday at Fork. And then Sunday is the Build Back Brady tournament on Tawakoni. Now, if you guys don't know about this, most of you know Scott Dean and Brady Winans were in a pretty bad boat wreck on Cedar Creek earlier this year. Brady's still in the hospital. And this is a benefit tournament being put on for Brady. I believe I read at least half the proceeds are going directly to Brady and his family. Kevin Bryant is putting this tournament on, or is directing it. I'm going to give you Kevin's phone number because he posted his phone number in the discussion on the Texas Fishing Forum about this tournament. So if you want to know more about it, 817-564-1649 is Kevin Bryant's phone number to go fish the Build Back Brady event over on Tawakoni on Sunday after the Bass Champs on Saturday at Fork. Last thing, 10 boat review. Promise you guys I'm trying to get it done. We've had 4 days we've been blown off the water and one mechanical issue with a boat that we were trying to run. A bunch of you guys responded and told me you can let me do a review on your boat. If you can do it on a weekday, please let me know, because I got tournaments on the weekend right now. It's middle of tournament season, and I got to catch a weather window, because I'm not going to get out there in a 17, 18 foot 10 boat in 20, 25 mile an hour wind. So any of you guys who said, hey, you can review my boat, please let me know if you can do it during the week. That would be really helpful so we can get these started when we catch a decent weather window. And then last thing, and I apologize, I may have already said this, but this is going to be a two-parter. And it's going to be a two-parter because I practiced Fork on a day when 40 of some of the best fishermen in the world were also on Fork. And it gives me a chance to look at what they were doing versus what I was doing, how I went over there thinking about practice, and how they caught fish when I didn't. And I caught fish, but the differences in how they caught fish versus how I caught fish. And it gives me a really interesting opportunity to critique myself and critique my thought process. So that and some additional fishing from Fork will be our Thursday video. So I hope you guys will tune back in for that. And stick around after the fishing, and I'm going to give you an update on something I've got to give away for somebody who might need it, and one other thing too right here at the end of the video. So here we go. Let's go to Fork. Well, good morning from Lake. Stick a fork in me. Over here practicing for the Bass Champs. I got to sneak down earlier in the week, and I caught a few fish. Not sure what of those I have on video. I know I have extremely poor audio, but take a gander here at a couple of those fish. That's a dandy right there. That one's short strung me right under the boat. It is a dandy.
know how well she hooked. She said, give me some A-ring. That's a dandy right there. That one's short stranded right on the boat. Ooh, that's a dandy. Yeah. Well, I got one hooked. It ain't caught yet. She swiped that. She actually didn't get it. Maybe she had one in her mouth. I don't think she did, though. Hard to believe that's a short fish, isn't it? Oh, what a nice fish. It is so much fun over here. She bit it right as it was coming up to the trolling motor. So she tried to bite it. I don't think she actually got it. I think she swiped at it. And them little bitty thin hooks got her. Same spot. Flew right back in there, had one miss it, and this one come up and got it. Another slot. So, by the way, the Bass Pro Tour guys are here today, and I haven't seen hardly any of them, which probably tells me I'm in the wrong part of the lake. I don't know if those guys get to practice or not, but I don't think they show up here not knowing something. I have had this morning, I spent the morning down on the main lake, out deep, trying to catch suspended fish. I've done it out there before, but I got to tell you, I had one bite. I had one, and it was a big one. I saw it. So if you don't do a lot of live scoping, what I'll tell you is, you throw an A-rig out there and watch your A-rig on your live scope. And if the echo of a fish you see is as big as a live scope, it's a 5 or 6 pound plus fish. And this was a good fish. It was over 5 pounds, I'm pretty sure, just based upon the echo that I saw. And I got her to react to a jerk bait. She was over the top of a pile of bait. She was about 40 feet of water, but she was only about 10 feet down. And I had her on for a pretty good second or two, and she pulled off. And so I stayed out there a bunch this morning. It's golly, it's noon. And so finally I've come back here shallow, just trying to goof around a little bit. And I just had one knock slack and an A-rig right there. And I'm gonna pick up a jerkbait. I've gotten a little bit shallower still. That fish was in about 14 feet of water. I didn't see the fish going in. I missed the fish. And then I turned around and I scoped that area because it was off kind of to the side, and I could see the fish, and I threw in there and she trailed it again, but she wouldn't eat it and she swam off. So for some reason they're not reacting to the A-rig very good today with no wind. So I'm gonna throw a jerkbait and try to be a little more erratic with the bait itself. So we'll fish around here a little bit more. Terry's out here. I talked to him a little while ago. He's had one fish, so it's not fishing great for us like maybe it is some of the Bass Pro Tour guys. I heard Wheeler's spanking on them somewhere, but I would rather fish than look for guys, so I'm gonna keep fishing and see what we see. So here we go, guys.
Okay, so two things here. Number one, if anybody need, and please, if you ask for this, need this. I'd rather do this to somebody locally because I don't want to mess with wrapping this up and mailing it to somebody. But I've got two of these. They're Flow Torque 2 hub kits. Now this is not for a Torque Master. I believe this is for like 150 and 175 Mercury outboard motors. It's got a thrust washer in it. It's got the whole smear, but it's for the smaller diameter prop shaft. This will run on a Bravo prop. This will run on a Fury prop. This will run on a Tempest prop. If anybody needs that or needs it as a spare, and you want to just, you can buy me lunch for it. Just holler at me and we'll connect. I've got two of these that are in the garage. I have absolutely no need for them, and it's not worth trying to sell them for the 50 or 75 bucks they're worth. I just want one of you guys to have them. So if you want them, Ken Smith Fishing and Outlook, and I've just basically got to give them to the first guy that responds to me, but I've got two, so I'm going to give one to two different people. And then the last thing I want to mention. So I had my hip replaced. I'm 59 years old. I had my hip replaced October the 26th. So November, December, January, February. So I'm almost 4 months removed from that. My hip had hurt for 9 years. And my buddy Kevin from Oklahoma called me the other day. He said, all right, my hip's killing me. He's 62, 63 years old. He said, I've been putting this off. Is it really worth it? Guys, I have zero pain. I have zero pain in my hip. 4 months afterwards. Now, there was a couple of weeks there that was uncomfortable, but you know, I was off a walker within 5 or 6 days. Never used a cane, never used a crutch. Had a little bit of pain. I was off the pain pills within a week. My wife still laughs at me. I'm sure she's laughing at me. I'm sure she's laughing at me in the other room because she's been on me to do this. It is the best thing I've had done to me physically in a long, long time. I told Kevin this, and I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If they told me tomorrow I need to replace my right hip, I would ask them if we could do it next week. They told me I'd be out of work for 6 weeks. I wasn't out of work for 2 weeks. They told me I couldn't. Now, luckily, it was my left leg, not my right leg. They told me because I'd be on pain pills, I might not be able to drive for 4 or 5 weeks. I was off pain pills within a week. I was driving a week and a half later. This is not a big deal. Dickie had his knee replaced. I think he would tell you largely the same thing. So all I'm telling you is for you guys, there's a bunch of you guys out there that are my age that this stuff, that their hips or their knees hurt. It is not worth waiting. Get it done. Just go get it done. I'm so happy I did it. I asked Kevin. He said, you know, it's hurting. And I said, is it hard to sleep? And he goes, oh, yeah. And let me tell you something. I remember that. I remember when it hurt. I mean, it woke me up the night. It hurt so bad. And it don't hurt anymore. So if yours is bugging you, go see a good orthopod and get it done. There's no reason, I promise you, there's no reason to wait, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I'll be back Thursday with a little bit more fishing, a little bit more conversation about what I saw at Fork, but also a critique of me practicing and kind of what I'm seeing with the Bass Pro Tour guys. So I watched today, I watched a little bit of yesterday's highlights, and I'm going to watch the next couple of days. Kind of letting those guys practice for me a little bit. But it's interesting. And by the way, I get it, right? I mean, Dakota Ebear had 9 fish for almost, or maybe just over 40 pounds at one point today. So basically, I think in a Bass Champs, he would have been sitting on 0, because if you got in that 4-pound average, they're all slot fish. But those guys are still catching a whole bunch of fish. And to catch 5 unders or even 1 over, you got to go through a lot of fish. You can't go out there and get 6 bites and expect 5 of them to be under. So there's something about getting a lot of bites, and those guys have figured out how to do it certainly better than I have, because they went in with some different ideas on fishing than I did. So anyway, we'll talk about that on Thursday. So I hope you guys will jump back over here and join me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Thursday.